Welcome to the UKOCR Community Podcast, presented by Obstacle Racing Media. Each episode, we'll be talking to race directors, elite runners, weekend warriors, and frankly, anyone else from the UKOCR scene that will talk to us. Here is your host, Alan, aka Muddy Duck.
Anywhere in Chicken Town. The bloody scene is bloody sad. The bloody news is bloody bad.
Tink Mcdaniel's from the US of A. Welcome to the UKOCR.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Alan. I'm happy to be here. My pleasure.
I've been talking to people about OCR Gives Back, and your name's cropped up quite a bit. So I was excited when we got put together by Katie Joyce. So big thanks to Katie for that. Put us together, and I thought, yeah, we've got to get you on at some point, and we finally got you on by the magic of the internet. It is 6 p.m. here and 1 p.m. where you are. Whereabouts in the States are you, Tim?
All right, so I live in Rochester, New York. So it's upstate, close to Buffalo, New York.
Okay. So when you say New York, us over here at this little island, we think of New York being a city. New York is actually a state. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. So it's a state. So I live closer to like Niagara Falls area.
Oh, wow.
If you kind of know that geography.
I know Niagara Falls because everyone knows Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
I imagine hills, mountains, black bears.
Yeah, we've got some mountains, lots of gorges, Finger Lakes, so lots of nice lakes.
Oh, wow. I was listening to a podcast. Is that near Yellowstone National Park? Is that the right? I don't know if it is or not, but I was listening to a podcast about Yellowstone National Park today.
No, Yellowstone's on the other side of the country. Closer to me is the Adirondacks.
Okay.
Which it doesn't surprise me if you haven't heard of them.
I haven't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so just a nice park range. Some pretty good mountains, but not the elevation that we see out west.
Okay.
Like where OCR WC is going to be, that's where the elevation is. Right. We're a little bit more sea level out here.
Okay. So that's good. Sea level's good. So the hills that you get, I guess you're starting at sea level and you're running up. What's the average elevation if you went for a training run where you are then?
The higher ones we can get to 3,500 or so, maybe a few peaks out, up lower fours. So we can still find some to get to.
No, that's good. That's good training. That my average training run. If I go because I live in the UK, everyone knows where I live who listens to this, but everyone in the UK, I live in a little village called Barnsley, which is not the greatest place, but I love it. It's not far where I've been brought up, so I'm very close to the Peak District. So literally like within 5 minutes of a drive, I can be in the hills of the Peak District. So a usual training run. So I've planned one this weekend coming. Excuse me. It's 15 miles with 1,800 feet of elevation. So that's my good average training run. So yeah, that's
really good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
where I live, the mountains are about a 4-hour drive.
Okay.
So I'm much more flat. I don't get nearly a lot of elevation, which I definitely need to train more on.
I don't know about that. Katie tells me, Katie didn't tell me, actually my researcher Ian told me that you've been over to the UK as well and raced over here in the UK. Where have you been in the UK?
Oh yeah, so when OCR Worlds came over, they were over there in 2018 and 2019. Yeah, that was my first taste, and it was so wonderful. Went over there, traveled around for the week before the race, and just got to soak in all of the United Kingdom as much as I could. Liked it so much that this last in 2023 I came back from Nuclear and did Nuclear Rush weekend.
Wow. And
got to hang out with Katie and a bunch of other friends that I've made over there in the UK. So it was such a great experience.
Are you a fan of Nuclear? Obviously doing it in the Worlds twice and then coming over for Rush. Is Nuclear like the one for you? What does it compare to in the States?
So definitely Nuclear can be a little bit more of like the muddy scene. Yeah. So maybe a bit more. We've got some local kind of stuff that's like Muddy Buffaloes, which in Buffalo, that they kind of put you more into like the mud as opposed to technical running. But I've been watching so many different I love to travel, so I've been watching so many different UK races, just trying to figure out what my next one should be.
I read a little rumor you might be trying to come over for Europe's toughest mudder. Is that right, or is that wrong?
Oh, well, Katie wants me to, and so does Libby. This year, I'm not sure if it's just going to work into the travel budget. With OCR Worlds being back again in California, that's a good size trip to plan, and just kind of some other things. And but I'm definitely looking at next year. I want to pop back over. Like I said, I just got to figure out the right race course. So if anybody has any suggestions.
Oh, we've got plenty of suggestions. We've got plenty. Over here in the UK, when we travel, we travel by car. You know, every race in the UK, we travel by car. A few people who maybe go up in Scotland, they might travel by plane to London or vice versa, but very, very few people actually catch planes to races. I guess is it common for you over in the States to, I guess, maybe have a bigger travel budget and do you drive for hours, or do you literally catch planes and rentals?
I usually drive too.
Yeah.
Most races around me are in the 4 to 6 hour drive range.
Okay.
So I'll try to take a long weekend and drive to them. But yeah, California will definitely be a flight. And going down to Atlanta, Georgia this year, that's a good flight.
Is that for the USA OCR champs? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, the OCR World Championships.
Yeah, so there's the USA OCR Championships, though, that's going to be happening just outside Atlanta, that was announced this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to make that one. There's a Savage race that's going on down there in September. I'm going to go to.
All right. I've seen some pictures of you doing Savage race. I always thought, so over in the UK, we get like snippets of what happens over in the USA. And, I look at Savage race and I always thought Savage race was very much a race. So I was a bit like a Spartan. But I've seen pictures of you on your Instagram and other people's Facebook pages of you going around with inflatable dinghies and things like that. So it's not a race, it's a fun race as well.
So Savage is closely probably one of my favorite American brands, because they do have a very competitive wave. People are racing for time and points. But then they also kind of open it up to just like the original, the fun loving, this is just a bit of a laugh. So it really is kind of a fun race, because it can challenge you, but then you can go back out with some friends a little bit later and just have a good time, and kind of like the grassroots of what OCR started off as, with, challenge you, but also just having a fun day.
Is it a technical race?
So I'm a big rig guy. I love rigs. That's kind of where I find my home in races. And yeah, Savage has pretty good rigs. There's a fair amount of technical stuff. But also, like I said, they mix in some of the goofy, kind of fun-loving obstacles that just make you laugh.
I guess it sounds very similar to the way Nuclear is in the UK then. So Nuclear, as you came over and saw at Rush, they have a very competitive wave. And they might have actually, because I think at Nuclear Rush, they do Rush and Oblivion on the same day, if I remember rightly. Someone's going to shout at me and say, no, they don't, but I'm sure they have a couple of races on the same day. But then afterwards, they have thousands of people go and just do it for fun, walking it, taking the time, getting as muddy as they can, which is very much over here in the UK. That's where it came from. It's only become competitive, I guess, become more competitive over the last few years.
Yeah, actually, they are probably pretty similar in that, where, and yeah, Nuclear just has such a fun vibe to it. And I think Savage, they're going for the same exact vibe, where the pre-race, you've got everybody kind of doing their warm-up in a group, and the whole starting corral is just people jumping around. So it very much is the same vibe, where you can go that morning and kind of decide which way you want to run that day.
I like that. I like that. So just choose on the day where you're going to run. What was your first race? What was your first ever OCR?
Yeah, so actually my first one was a Tough Mudder. The original length, a few years 2015, I think. And
Wow.
yeah, left me kind of realizing I wasn't prepared for that distance.
Yeah.
That one caught me off guard. My knees were feeling it, but yeah, I fell in love with it almost immediately. Just grabbed at it.
Had you trained to it, or was it like a work thing where, like I said, a lot of people over in the UK, the first tough one ended up being a work thing or going there to raise a bit of funds for local people. What was it for you?
Yeah, so it was similar to that. It was just a group of kind of friends,
Yeah.
and just people that we kind of loosely knew, and we had a group of maybe 12 people. And I did some stuff in the gym, but nothing really to prepare.
Yeah.
So it was an eye opener.
Okay. I get that. I think it is for all of us. Our very first OCR, people who've never done them before, it's a whole different kettle of fish to just doing a trail run or even a road run. I mean, I see people come from road running into doing Tough Mudder and running with, the best night vapor flies at 270 pounds because that's what they've run the last 10K in on the roads, and they end up slipping and sliding. And it's I like to run with that crowd and just watch it and laugh at it all along, and not laugh at them, but laugh at the way that they're enjoying the fun, and they do enjoy it. And I think that's the whole thing. That's what makes us come back, because we all enjoy it, don't we?
Yeah, there is, it's this mixture of just being able to just be a kid again, or just playing around. And yeah, it definitely, yeah, I think once you do one, it for most of us, it grabs us right in because it's just so much fun.
Was you sporty in high school?
So that's kind of the funny thing is I was never much of a sports person.
Okay.
Skateboarded and snowboarded kind of thing, but never really got into sports. So for me, like I definitely came into the OCR community through the community.
Yeah.
I know you've talked to a bunch of people, and you yourself, that place real well, or very competitive. And I'm just kind of more of that fun kind of guy. So over the last couple of years, I've increased my competitive level, but I've just always been gravitated towards everybody in the community and just having kind of that kinship of having fun and playing.
Yeah. I'm very much like that at this moment in time. I've done my racing side's gone and done now. It's like, let me start at the back and run with everyone to have fun. It is much more fun doing that. What got you involved with OCR Gives Back? Because you are heavily involved with it. What got you involved with that? At what point was you there?
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, so OCR Gives Back. It's a not-for-profit, or it's a charity that is Steve McCollum is kind of the head of it. So if you go to a lot of the American races, you might see him around. He's definitely at Worlds, OCR WC Worlds, with his little booth set up. So him and I connected at the Stratton in probably 2018, 2019. No, I'm sorry. That was, yeah, NORAM was there. So right around that mark, we kind of connected, and just over time, more and more talked. And then let me see, what is that? Yeah, 2021, I really started talking to him about doing missionship. It's just kind of one of those things that I really felt like it would be something interesting to do. So one of the other guys, Daniel, was setting one up, and I ended up getting involved with that. Didn't really know what to expect. We did our first trip, or I did my first trip with them down to Monterrey, Mexico, for about a week, and just a completely life-changing event. And just knew that was going to be something I wanted to be a part of for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, I get that. What level did you feel you wanted to get involved with them, though? So you said you wanted to get involved with them, and now you've become like super involved with them. Did you go in with that intention, or did you go in with I'll just dip my feet in and get involved with them that way?
No, that's actually a really great question, because I didn't really know what to expect. So I was very timid, and maybe a bit shy. I didn't really know what to expect with the whole thing. I figured it had to be it had to be something good. I knew Adrian wouldn't support something, and Rachel Ann had nothing but good things to say. I knew that those guys, they wouldn't support something that they didn't believe in. Obviously, a lot of us know. Sorry, my brain just completely shut down. I'm sorry. Obviously, a lot of us knew about like Lindsay Webster going on one of the mission trips a few years back. So I had all of these things in my brain that were saying, well, it's got to be good. Just going by how everybody else is reacting, it's got to be good. But I was still just, kind of timid. It is it's part of Back2Back Ministries, and I don't go to church every Sunday, so I wasn't really sure how, do they only want people that are religious? How does that kind of all take effect? So I was a little timid, but once I kind of, took the leap and went, they're not there to convert anybody into any religion. They're not, they're just there to help the kids that they support, and any support they can get, they absolutely enjoy.
Yeah. That was one of the things that got me. I noticed it was a Christian charity, so when I've looked on their Just Giving page about it all, and it says Back2Back Ministries Incorporated. They provide holistic and sustainable care for orphaned and vulnerable children. I liked that. I thought that was great. That's what we all want to do. Children who are vulnerable need our help, whatever situation we're in. But then the next line where it said it was a Christian non-profit, and I was thinking, oh, is it like a religious and things like that? And that was going to be one of my questions to you. You've been on to one of these missions. So you went down to Mexico in January?
Yeah, last year and then this year. So I've been twice now to Monterrey, Mexico, on the mission trips. And so Back2Back, like we were saying, they're a Christian-based organization, but they're there for the kids. So they don't, you don't have to follow any particular religion, as long as you're there to serve the kids, and they're just happy to get us.
When you went to the mission, what's it like down there? What are the children? Where do the children come from? We talk about vulnerable. Are they completely orphans, or is it other vulnerabilities in that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different groups. They've got when we go down. I can speak to Monterey specifically. Yeah, they work with different children's homes that are all privately run, and try to work with those homes both to keep the homes in good shape, as well as work with the kids there, in sponsoring them. And most of these kids are split. The kids are kind of split 50-50. Some of them are able to go home on like weekends. So maybe they just go to the home during the workday because of parents having to be at work and nobody to take care of them, kind of a situation, while others are actually displaced from their family. But it's Back2Back's goal. It's OCR Gives Back's goal to create as much of kind of a family structure as possible, to kind of just help the kids in their needs, right? We all kind of know that vision of orphanages that are just beds in a room, and one orderly that doesn't pay much attention, and they're trying to break that mold. So a lot of the house that we worked with, they've got the kids divided into 4 groups. You've got young boys, young girls, older boys, older girls, and they actually live with a mother and father that live on site, and kind of give them like a home style. So instead of the kids just being a number, they live with maybe 4 or 5 other kids about their same age, with a couple of parents and maybe even those parents' kids, so that they can have a little bit more of kind of I don't want to say normal, but a little bit more of a standard upbringing than just an institutionalized,
So is it more? So in the UK here, we have orphanages, which are like schools that would have a headmaster and headmistress or whatever they are, and then we'd have teachers and things like that. And it was very much like a boarding school. But then we also have what we call foster care over here. I don't know if you have that in America, where there are families, and then families might have their own children, they might not, but then they would take in foster children, sometimes up to 4 or 5 at a time. Is it very much like that with several foster families in a house looking after children and that?
In a way, it's very similar. We've got the foster system here.
Yeah.
And Mexico is they're in still development of their foster care system, which is actually a lot is to do with Back2Back Ministries kind of lobbying, I guess you could say, the Mexican government and saying, hey, this is a plan that would work, as opposed to that old style of just, well, nobody wants the kids, so the kids can just go in a room. Yeah, so that's they really do try to do that where it's more of a family style. And then there's the house parents, they call them, or foster parents that would watch the kids.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. And there's a lot of people involved. I didn't realize actually how many people were actually involved in OCR Gives Back. I thought, Back2Back Ministries would have lots of people from their congregations giving money. But when you go on the Just Giving page, it really is a who's who of OCR, and they're all coming through OCR Gives Back. We've got Lindsay Webster, giving thousands. I mean, amazing, Lindsay. And there's people in the UK, I've seen on here that Dan Titcom's raised money, and we've got Leon Colford, and it really is a who's who of OCR giving money back worldwide. How do you get all of these people involved? Maybe not you personally, but how does OCR Give Back get all of these people involved?
It's wonderful, and it is. I'm honored to be a part of it, and it really, I think it goes to kind of the OCR community. We, for the most part, we have just a really good group of people. I mean, you take a cross section of the OCR community and you put it up against any other cross section of people. We have a really good set of people, and I think, like you were saying with the kids, everybody can stand behind helping kids that need something. And the care we give is amazing, because it's everything. We go down there and we teach them right foods to eat, or hydration, and then we play with them and do active play as part of the thing of going down there. We also work with trying to recognize like some trauma, children that have grown up in these kind of needy situations. They've got a form of trauma, whether it's just internal or mental, or in some cases maybe physical. So we do some trauma competent care classes, kind of just helping us also grow and learning some of that stuff. Sorry, I'm off track here, but
no, that's fine. I'm enjoying this.
But I mean, going back to the different people, I think it's just been really great. I think it's kind of like a wildfire at this point. It's everybody's starting to kind of see, and just like I had the trust when I saw some of the names, I was like, well, these people are pretty good people, and they're taking part of it. And so now we're just continuing to grow. I'm sure you've heard this year, OCR Gives Back is the charity partner for OCR World in California. And it's the 10-year anniversary. It almost, it caught my breath when I heard. It's just, I think it's a really good, it's a really good organization that we're really trying to push forward. So I think that's why everybody's kind of understanding the need and helping out.
It's been very, I call the growth of it natural growth, organic growth. It's not forced down your neck. I don't see lots of paid advertisements for OCR Gives Back. I see organic growth, and people talking behind the scenes about it. Yes, they've secured the OCRWC charity partnership, which was great. It was great when we got the press release on that. It was like, oh yeah, getting recognized. I guess it's a little bit a shame that you've only got one partner there because you're doing so good. You know, we need the likes of Spartan, Tough Mud, and everyone else to be partnering with you guys and saying, look, you know, we're all going to partner with them. Maybe they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. I don't know what their thoughts are, but I think this is a potential stepping stone for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And along those lines, I know Spartan, Steve McCollum and Spartan have had numerous talks about what they could do on a broader level. And so Spartan's been really great with now letting myself or some others. Matthew Quinn was down in Atlanta last month. They let him set up a OCR Gives Back whole booth right in the festival area, so that he could kind of spread the word and talk to people as they came up in between him racing. So yeah, Spartan's come around and they've said, you know, hey guys, we want to do what we can, so you guys can set up booths wherever the races are. And yeah, it's building on itself, and it's you know, snowballing, and it's great.
At the booths and that, do you sell merchandise, or is it just a case of spreading the word and saying, hey, look, if you want to donate, you can donate here? Or is there other ways that people can join like that?
Yeah, so a lot of it is just kind of spreading the word, telling people what we're about. And like, this opportunity is wonderful because I think when people start to learn about it, it really can open their eyes to saying like, hey, I don't have to be super religious, or I don't have to, you know, if I can't make a trip, I can support a trip by, you know, giving to somebody's just giving page, or I can spread the word. I could, you know, wear an OCR Gives Back shirt. And so there's so many ways that you could be a part of it without having to be that tangible part. And so that's been really great. We don't really sell anything because, you know, Steve, he just gives the shirts to anybody that he thinks can, you know, represent the need. And so, yeah, very grassroots kind of a thing.
This needs to be a website where you're selling the shirts, because I can see people buying them, and you know, they've got to be printed, they've got to be made up, and even if selling them for a small profit, you know, I'm sure people would still purchase them. You know, they're not that expensive to make, but for a small profit, it's more money going back. It's more money going back, and that's what it's all about, is giving the back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is, I forget the site. I know when they do like a run of the shirts,
yeah,
Steve will send it out, and there's a site so that, you know, if you want to order a hoodie, you know, you can do that. But yeah, we should make that. Maybe that's a good thing for me to think about. Put that on the homepage so that we could start, you know, and yeah, get $5 donation per sweatshirt or something.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. And you know, 100 sweatshirts, $500. That's, you know, it's
changing lives.
Yeah, that changes lives, doesn't it? When we talk about changing lives, and you said it helps with the upkeep of these houses, how much does it cost for the upkeep of an house? Do you know that point?
So I don't know a lot of that kind of stuff. Okay. I know a lot of the children's homes down there. A lot of the upkeep is kind of done through the volunteers and the mission trips.
Yeah.
You know, OCR Gives Back. We're a group that goes down along with other groups throughout the year. So you know, like Steve, he'll go down with a soccer camp for a week and do something similar to what we do, but you know, it's funny. We hear it from all of the staff members there that the kids, they know when OCR comes down, because we have so much fun playing with them. We do nightly physical activities, and we actually make our own obstacle course, and then we run the kids through it. And that helps them get their competitive spirits out, and helps kind of bond us, honestly, through sport.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I'd actually seen the post of you putting the obstacle course and the kids running it. I was thinking, oh, that's amazing. That's exactly what, you know, we want people to do, in terms of whether it be OCR Gives Back or anyone giving the time up to get kids into OCR is, you know, whether they go on in later in life and do that, that's not the point. It's actually getting people into exercise and making their lives healthier.
Yeah, 100%. You know, that's one of the things we learn when we go through the trauma competent care is, you know, specifically with kids, but also with adults. When we're anxious and nervous, and the kids are working through, you know, whatever anxieties they may have, when you're playing and you're laughing and, you know, you're staying active like that, those little nervous parts of your brain turn off so that you're able to actually grow and you're able to, you know, live outside of that fear moment. And so that's really what we try to provide for them, is just those times of not having fear and learning how to play. And then we mix in healthy nutrition and hydration. And yeah, we try to do the whole holistic care, and not just for now, but for forever, right?
Yeah.
Help somebody to see good for forever.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. I've noticed as well that we talked about Mexico there, but Back2Back Ministries don't just go to Mexico. They have got ministries worldwide. You know, from what I can see, we have got India, Haiti, Mexico, Cancun. So it's
there's
international.
Yep, international. I think Steve's going to Nigeria next month.
Cool.
So yeah, they've got 9 different sites.
Wow.
So it's all over the place. You know, for us in the States, Mexico is kind of an eeasy hop.
Yeah.
Easy plane ride down. But yeah, I believe Lindsay went to India when she did hers. So there's all sorts of places you can go to help, and you know, kids worldwide need the help. So it's just growing and growing.
So am I right in thinking that there's 2 types of help that we can give them, or general people? We can actually donate. We can donate through the Just Giving page, or we can actually become volunteers and go down and help at one of the orphanage stroke homes.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, you know, for people that can take the time off of work and do that stuff, there are trips that, you know, we would love to set up. We just need, you know, to get people going, and we'll set up trips and you know, figure out the scheduling. And then for people that you know, you can't take time off from work, or just travel's not in the budget, you can just support those of us that do make the trips, or the support, you know, Back2Back Ministries with just a normal donation. There's also individual support. If, you know, there's you can individually support a kid and sponsor a child,
right? And
that helps with that child's particular helps with their expenses. I sponsor a girl that down in Mexico who's now going into high school. In Mexico, they actually have to pay for high school. It's not mandatory. So it helps with her tuition, helps with some of her living costs. And, you know, then for Christmas and her birthday, I can send a little extra. And the house parents she lives with are able to buy her a little bit more of a gift. So there's also that. You can sponsor an individual child. My friend Eric that I've gone on these trips with as well, he started off with sponsoring a child, and then the living arrangements at the kid's family changed, so the kid was able to move back in with his parents. And Eric said, hey, you know, I was sponsoring the child, I'll just help the family, you know. So sending down, you know, his monthly contributions go to just help that family kind of close the gap on their budget, wow, which is an amazing thing for him to have done as well.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely amazing. How far is and I'm going to ask you this because you know geography over there in America and South America much better than I would. We talk Europe, I know Europe. We talk over there, you know that. So we've got Costa Rica coming up this year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How far is maybe Mexico or Haiti? You know, how far away are they from? Is it an easy plane hop?
Yeah, it would be probably an easy plane up. Maybe probably a couple hours.
Okay.
Mexico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, that's kind of in like that central zone right around on the equator. And then Costa Rica is just a little bit below that.
So
And of
what
course,
I'm
the
going to
states are
point out
above
here,
that.
though, if there's any of our listeners in the UK that are going to Costa Rica and you would be willing to give up a few days of your time by flying to another beautiful island or another beautiful place, like we've just mentioned, you can actually go and give back and join in the mission. If they want to do that, would they contact OCR Gives Back or would they go through Back2Back Ministries?
So actually, that would be a great thing to. I'm going to put that one over to Steve. Steve McCullum. He's the main guy with OCR Gives Back. He's the one that founded it in the beginning. Yeah. And that would be a wonderful idea. I would say anybody that wanted to make that trip to reach out to him and see what we could put together.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. Unfortunately, I'm not going, but I think if I was going, I think maybe 4 or 5 days before or 4 or 5 days after. People are not going to go over from the UK. They're not going to go to Costa Rica for a long weekend. That people are going to go there and they're going to probably want the best races are going to try and acclimatise 4 or 5 days before. If they can give back and acclimatise at the same time, why not do that? And maybe they want to stay for a little bit longer afterwards. So I'm putting it out there for any UK people. Tell me if you're going to do it.
Yeah, that is I like the way you think. That's an amazing vacation, right? Go and do something for somebody else, and then go run your race, and definitely have some stories and a changed life to come back home to.
Yeah, I would love to see. I would love to see that out there. So what next for OCR Gives Back? Where will it go next for you guys? Where are we going to see you? How are you going to raise more funds and more awareness?
So I've got an expo just outside of Boston this weekend. Unfortunately, I won't have a table because I just didn't have the time to get stuff going. But I'm going to be over there, just kind of spreading the word, and just at some of the more at the end of races, we'll hopefully have people, hopefully have some tents set up at some Spartans. We do the majority of our kind of face-to-face at OCR Worlds in California. I know this year we're definitely going to try to get out there a little bit beforehand at other races throughout the year, July and August to help kind of keep the momentum going. And yeah, maybe I'll have to head out to the UK and try to set up a table at Nuclear.
Or if any event I'm at, you can set up a table at any event. I will give you my gazebo, and you can use it. You can use that, no problems whatsoever. I was going to say, are there any ambassadors in other countries? So you help out in the USA. Is there people in the UK that would become ambassadors for you or anything like that? Have you spoke to anything like that?
Libby Joyce and I, we're good friends. We met a couple of years ago, and we're almost immediate friends. And her family's just great. I know that her and her mom have talked a lot about OCR Gives Back, and I don't want to speak for her, but I think that she would be a great representation because she kind of encompasses everything. She's just really happy, always willing to help people on the course. There are a few other people in the UK that are a part. A lot of their names escape me at this point. But yeah, we'll take everyone we could get. It's so amazing.
So if they want to come part, they reach out to you or reach out to Steve. Did you say?
Yep. So Steve McCullum or myself, absolutely reach out. Any questions, I'm always happy to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I'll definitely get with Steve or pass along messages for sure.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great thing that you're doing. If we can help anyway if UKOCR can help in any way, I'm going to say it's right here now for everyone. Let me know, because we would love to help in whatever way we can. I think it's great that you're doing it with children. I think it's great that the whole community's got involved in the USA, and it's now becoming worldwide. I think we just need to maybe help you a little bit more in the UK and that.
Well, I mean, thank you. First, yeah, thank you so much. And you doing this podcast is wonderful outlet to kind of reach more and more people. I know Fran over in the UK. She talked with Steve last month or about a month and a half ago. I forget. You might have to do some searching to find that podcast, but she talked with him, and yeah, it's wonderful to just get the news out there, and to just keep it moving. And I, I'm, I'm over the moon with just how happy I am being able to be part of it, and being able to give back is just wonderful for me.
Definitely, much thing. How can people find or how can people donate?
So the easiest, if you go to Back2Back Ministries, there's always the donation page right there, back2backministries.org. I might as well throw in a shameless plug. We all have our different little athlete pages. So if you go to Just Giving, I believe mine's Just Giving, and then just search out Tink Mcdaniel. And that will kind of give me some kudos for, it's a friendly competition, right? Just like OCR, it's friendly competition. We go in to try to see who can do the best with raising some money, and all the proceeds go to the kids. So it's not like I get anything out of it, but it's nice to kind of have that competition. And actually in that Worlds, Steve will crown the first, second, and third fundraisers for the year, which is always kind of nice to get to stand on a podium and get your award.
Oh, definitely. I found it. Yeah. So Just Giving page, Tink, then the -sign McDaniel -sign 24. Very easy to find. I just found you so easy there. So that was super easy. Yeah, you're 42% of your way to your target.
We're going. So keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely amazing. Tink, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Oh, it's been absolutely my pleasure. I really appreciate
it. Before I let you go, do you want to give a shout out to anyone? I mean, we've talked about OCR Gives Back, but is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to while you're here with me?
Yeah. I would like to thank Katie. She's great for getting us linked together. Hopefully, are you going to be able to come out to the States for any races? Or I heard that your last podcast that I heard the other day, Grumpy's coming out.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to meeting him. I'm going to have to make sure to introduce myself, but I was happy to hear that. It's always nice to grow our friendships internationally. So happy to meet him. And but do you have any plans for coming out this way?
At this moment in time, I haven't. As my listener knows, who listens at Swift Half, I've recently bought a house, so all my money is now being ploughed into a house.
Yeah.
I think it's about the fourth house I've bought in my lifetime, but I haven't owned an house in nearly 20 years. So, I've bought a house. It doesn't need a lot of work, but it needs some work doing. So this year, my money is definitely on that. 2025, possibly, because my listeners also I've now got a passport as well, which I haven't had in quite a few years, so I can travel Europe and travel the world. So yeah, my plan is maybe 2025. I'd like to come out to WTM if I'm honest, and while I'm out there, see what I can do at WTM. I am more into my ultra running now as opposed to running a 10K, only because it's better value for money. I mean, I'm from Yorkshire, Tink, and in Yorkshire we always talk about what's the best value. So if I can pay whatever it is and get lots and lots of miles in, that's good value for me. So.
Yeah, $100 5Ks aren't making it for you.
No, yeah, not at all. I don't remember the last time I actually did a 5K race. Gosh, that would have been this 3K series. We've got a 3K series in the UK now as well, which is absolutely great. It's wonderful to see that we've got lots of different race series in the UK now. We have got a 3K series, a standard series, and we've got an endurance series. It wouldn't surprise me if we very soon have a 100-meter one. But it's great. We've got all the OCR racing scene going in the UK because we haven't had that for many years. And it's seeing new athletes come through, in the UK. So, which is great to see because we want to see, more and more UK athletes competing at the biggest events and taking home podiums. You know, we have his fair share. You know, big well done to everyone who's been out and got podiums. But we want to see more athletes in the UK, and we want to see bigger races. And the only way to, well, not the only way to do that, but one of the main ways to do that is to get really good athletes into the business, because that's where we see growth. You know, it's the front runners will always do it, but if front runners are seeing athletes do it, then they're gonna want to do it as well.
Yeah, no, yeah, I 100% agree with you that definitely got to keep the growth there, and the fun runners, they're always our backbone. But
Yeah.
to get athletes that are good, kind of in a different venue, and bring them over and show them what it's all about, and having different distances and stuff like that to play towards their strengths helps keep them. And then like I was saying, with the work you're doing, helping Libby and the juniors come up, that's the secondary growth. You know, if we don't have the juniors coming in, there's not going to be much more of a future.
But they're my future, you see. I'm give my age away now. I'm 55 now, so I'm thinking 5 years I want to be able to retire, and I can hand it over to Libby and Finley and everyone else who wants to have it. And I've just grown it to a point, and I can sit back and watch everyone else do it and just listen to the podcast. I'm in a great position, and I'll say this right here now, that I get to listen to all of the podcasts before anyone else, and I do listen to them because I love OCR, and you know, it's great, and it's great that we can get involved with people like you and other people who do different things. It's not always about the elite athlete, you know. It's not always about, you know, your John Albans, your Ryan Atkins, your Hunter McIntyres. It's about everyday people doing amazing things, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're an everyday athlete doing an amazing thing with OCR Gives Back.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. I really appreciate that, because it's you know, that is also one of the things that when I talk to friends about our sport, you know, our most elite athletes are as humble as the weekend warriors, which I always find that is just something great about our sport. You know, those of us that are just fun runners or slightly competitive versus those that are, you know, they're in race mode.
Without a doubt. And the recent Spartan World Championship showed how the elite athletes treat other athletes, you know, the likes of John, Ryan, Lindsay, you know, some of the best, Leon, VJ, mingling, you know, with everyday weekend warriors, and chatting to them and letting them have photos, not letting them have photos, but actually going and having photos with them. It wasn't a case of letting them, just having photos with everyday athletes. It's, you know, you'll never meet a less assuming guy, I always said, than John Alban. I think, you know, he's probably the most less assuming athlete I've ever met, you know, and he, you know, he's fairly shy in a lot of respects, but he will talk to people and he will give advice and things like that, and he goes around doing his own thing. And I think it's great that I actually remember racing against him back in 2012, 2013, at a local event, which was just a muddy fun run. And I say racing against him, I think I was on the start line with him. I didn't see him after that, but, you know, and it's great that these athletes, and it's great that he's stayed with it, although he's moved on a little bit and done other things. It's great that he's coming back and competing, even if it is for money. You know, and that's where, if we can get athletes like that, a UTMB winner coming in and running OCR, that has got to be good for OCR, and it's got to be good for OCR Gives Back, because then that just raises the profile of everything that's OCR related.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And same as you, I always enjoy seeing people take a step away and then they come back and they're still right, you know, right at the head of the pack like they always were.
Definitely. I'd love to see Hunter McIntyre come back now. If there's one athlete I want to see come back, because what he's done with High Rocks and that, and he has stepped up his running game. He's shed pounds. So, you know, he's always had a powerhouse, and now he's trimmed and gone less weight, not less muscly, less weight. You know, he talks about biceps wins races. I would love to see him come back and take on a really tough OCR. He would have to train a little bit for the OCR, you know, the movements of the rigs. But I think he could come back and be right up there challenging now.
Yeah, actually, it's been interesting watching some of the crossover with Hydrox and some of the people that are from the OCR community going over there. And yeah, you're right. If him slimming down, it's going to make him lighter, possibly more nimble going across some rigs. It would be interesting if he came back.
Yeah, I think his running speed's going to. It was always fairly fast, but I think his running speed's going to be phenomenal now.
Yeah,
and that's what sort of, I guess, let him down sometimes is powered through races from what I've seen. You know, the videos I've seen, and that is tended to power his way through races, as opposed to where, if you look at Ryan Atkins, for instance, when they ran together, you would see completely different styles. Ryan would be floating along the ground, and you would see Hunter, really, I won't say heavy footed, but it looked heavy footed, but right next to Ryan, and that was the difference between them, where Hunter then demolished the obstacles. I saw him go to, there was one Spartan race I watched, and I couldn't tell you which one it was now. There was one Spartan race, and there was a 10-foot wall or something like that, and he literally just put one hand on it and lifted himself up, and he was on it, while I think Ryan was still trying to get a heel hook or something.
Yeah, definitely two different style of races, but they're both very well accomplished guys. So I'd like to see Hunter come back. That would be interesting.
Definitely. You talked earlier on about rigs and that. Before I let you go, do you have your own rig at home, or do you go to climbing to train on them?
Yeah, so I do a lot of bouldering. That's probably one of my favorite, ways to train, is just getting on the bouldering walls and a little bit of outside bouldering to just work on that grip strength. But yeah, rigs have always been the thing that I gravitated to with the sport.
Right.
I just, in fact, Rachel Land dubbed me the rig monkey, because that's kind of just wherever she would see me, I'd be hanging off a rig. So I got to work on my running game. That's one thing that's just always eluded me. I just can't get in that headspace for running, but you put me around an obstacle and that's my home.
Does the 3K series appeal to you then? Like the 3K races, that appeal to you more?
Yeah, absolutely. When you're talking about you guys having the 3K series, maybe I'll have to work some travel plans around seeing a couple of those, because just fast and very obstacle dense courses. That's kind of finding my jam.
I think you need to maybe have a look at, there's one called Nuts Head to Head. So
Okay.
That is literally, it's imagine obstacle after obstacle after obstacle with very minimal running. You 5 yards of running before you're on another obstacle, and then 5 yards, another obstacle. And it's all run head to head. So like an 100-meter course, but it's not 100 meters. It's we're talking like a kilometer long. And it is one of the better events when it comes to head and people who are obstacle proficient. And I'll say that it's a great spectator thing as well. There's a couple of videos out there if you just type in nuclear head to head, and it's also gender neutral. So it's not about men against men, women against women. There is no gender involved. It's about you're racing against whoever you're racing against. Because the advantages are much more minimal, because it's fluid movements as well as strength, and it's just not all about a man's strength versus a woman's. It's very fluid.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, well, you gave me some homework. I'm going to be looking that stuff up.
Yeah. Tink, I'm going to let you go. We're an hour into it, and people are going to be saying now they're coming to the final 100 meters of their run and going, "It's still talking, that Alan is. He needs to get off. Let him go." Tink, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you. I thank you so much.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a